Today is July 29th, 2023.
And
My
I'm
name is
married-
Chloe McCormick. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Edith Bassett. I have lived in Richmond since middle school, went to Albert Hill for a little while, and then went to Chandler for a little while. And also had homebound services in the city. I've always lived in the city, except a brief stay in Chesterfield, Bonnie, or North Chesterfield, they call it now.
What was your first involvement with Richmond Public Library?
It was Ginner Park branch, and I lived in the north side of the city on West Seminary, and I could see the branch from my bedroom window upstairs and look out across at Azalea Mall. I just always liked libraries. I read a lot when I was in elementary school in North Carolina, and I read the Borrowers, which became a movie. I heard. I was thrilled about the Borrowers, I enjoyed going to Ginner Park and just looking at the books and even the art books, picture books.
Is Ginner Park still your branch of choice, or is there another one that you go to nowadays?
For convenience, I'm living in the south side, so I go to Broad Rock, and I just have, this year I'm not driving, so I have just been running in, having services such as copy machine or when I need a service. I like the main actually more than all of them because they have different sections and different, they have the city directory. You can look up people's names and all, and where they live. And I've lost my address book so much that I need to go back and do that. But I just haven't been able to get up there feasibly from the south side, not driving right now. And plus we have a little dog I take care of and don't want to bring him out in the hot weather and everything.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Mrs. Horton?
Well, I had lived at 3416, the most I lived anywhere from about 1985, I guess. Don't pinpoint me on that. I forgot when I bought the place, but I rented there 2 years before I bought, and I bought a condo, and she wasn't there at first, but when I came back, I lived a little bit at my parents' and saved money teaching and living with my parents. When I came back and bought the other condo, moved next door to where I was renting. I met Miss Dorothy Horton. She was from South Carolina. She had been retired for a while, and I'm not sure of her exact age. She must have been in her 80s when I met her, and back in I'd say 85, or maybe 88. Anyway, she was everyone's friend. Everyone in the whole building liked Miss Horton, and she was just a wonderful lady. And when I started dating my present husband, Steve Malice, she like was overly willing to help us out any way we needed. Like, one time we had left our car down at where I had been doing volunteer work, and I had gotten a ride back. We had gotten a ride back, and we needed to get back up there. Steve didn't have a car at the time, and Miss Horton had a blue Chevy, and that's the type of lady she was. She heard, "Where's your car, Edith?" And one time my car was stolen from the back, before I met Steve, was stolen from the back of our apartment when I first moved there and just hadn't met Steve yet. And she's the one who told me. I was staying with my parents after being in the hospital for a while, and I saw Miss Horton at the Hermitage, which was right next to my parents, and she was going to see someone there being nice, and she said, "Edith, have you moved your car?" And I said, "No." And she said, "It's gone." And luckily we got it back. We reported it to police, got it back because of her. And there's something to be said about nosy neighbors. All the neighbors were good there, pretty good, but Miss Horton was just excellent. And she had the old ladies coming and playing cards with her every afternoon, and they'd be sipping their sherry. And she had an antique card table. She was just wonderful, wonderful person.
Wow.
But anyway, I was kind of scared because she was getting up in years when she met Steve and I. Steve came on the scene, and we went to pick up my car, and she was driving that blue car, big old antique. It was in itself, and she was driving it, and we picked up my car, and we wouldn't have known what to do. You know, we would have had to call a tow truck and have it towed back to the lot, and because for some reason it was too late to ride the bus, and we would have been there all weekend, and I forgot the details, but you know, Steve was used to riding the bus, and he took me riding the bus a lot when we first dated. But
She sounds like a very helpful neighbor.
she was helpful. She was very helpful, and you saw the nice card she wrote me. Yeah, she wrote. She thought of everyone at Christmas. She wrote me a nice Christmas card in 1991. Stated. Yeah.
Why don't you tell me that story about Joe Taylor at the library? 'Cause that's a funny
Okay,
one.
well, I've always had car trouble or phone trouble, and I have these smartphones. Of course, I tried going back to a flip phone, and that's, to me, they're harder to work than a smartphone now. So I better stick to the smartphones, but the smartphones are smarter than me. My phone just suddenly did everything in a foreign language, and I didn't understand what to do about it. I was like speaking, and so I took it to my husband first, and he did show me there's a way you can go to a foreign language setting, and he tried to do it, but it wouldn't work, and so we took it to the phone company, and they were just they were like, "Oh, I don't think we can help you now. The phone's out of date, and we'll just have to, you know, we don't know what to tell you." And I said, "Well, give it to me. I'll take it to University of Richmond help desk. They have an IT department, and they fixed it before." And I wasn't going to buy a new phone. I mean, because I had so many phone problems, losing phones and all these phones, different types of phones. And I finally liked this phone. I just didn't understand what was wrong. So my girlfriend Barb and I were meeting down in the downtown library. And we had been to a place to eat or something down there, and we were going to meet at the librarian then she was gonna go her way home, and I was gonna go get picked up or something, or I don't know, but we both weren't driving, I don't think. And but we may have taken the caravan. But anyway, we were down in the downtown library, and it was evening. It was turning into evening, and I see Joe. So I just mentioned to him, Joe, we have this phone here. I have this phone here that that won't, I don't know what language it is, but it's, look at this. And it was some sort of pictorial language, like it looked like pictures, like Chinese. I thought it was Chinese. Well, Joe took it, and he took it, and he said, do you mind if I take it upstairs? And I said, no, go ahead. And I think the whole IT department, or if anyone else was up there, they were working on it. And he came down with a big old book, a research book for phones, a manual, and he started, he said, we're working on it still, do you mind staying a little longer? And I said, no, we'll stay. And I think I called my husband, and he was going to pick us up. And so Joe went back up, and then he came down and he fixed it. And he said, as I recall, I don't know what language it was, but he said it was real hard to fix, and it was some little country in Africa or South Africa, some obscure country that you never hear of, that the language was the language came from. And he mentioned the name, and I said, email my husband that language. I said, I don't have that good of a memory. I've never heard of that country. Email the husband, and he'll keep it for me. But I think he finally lost it too off his phone, or he had to get a new phone. And anyway, if Joe remembers, Joe Taylor at the IT department, he's head of the IT. He did excellent, and I didn't think he would really do it, but he did it. And it wasn't that long.
He still works at the main library with us.
Yes, he still works at the main library with them. Steve my husband dropped off some books the other day, and we didn't want to leave the little dog in the car, so I sat in the car, and I saw Joe walking down the sidewalk. And he spoke until Steve came out, and he talked to Steve and I a little bit, and then, but I forgot all about that phone until I went home and thought about Miss Horton, and then I thought, there's another library who's been helpful to me.
Yeah.
Current librarian, still working.
Did you mention that at one point you were a part of the Friends of the Library? Is that
Yes,
right?
I was the Friends. I paid the minimal amount to be the Friends, but I never had any money a lot to donate. But I for a long time I kept it up, but I let it slide. I've had some health problems, and I've been in and out on my back, and now
And you attended some of the book sales, right?
Yes, I attended the book sales, and I fell in love with that, and I joined up. You can join at the book sale, and I joined up because they have wonderful sheet music. I got some a Christmas sheet music thing for my husband. He's very musical, and I got some other sheet music. And then they just have, it's down in the basement, all sorts of good books. I got a Clinton and Hillary book when they were young. It said the Clintons, and I kept that, and finally I did give it away because we were living in Petersburg, and we couldn't really keep up with all our books, and someone had asked me if they could have it, the manager of the place we were living at, and so I gave it to John, and I hope he's read it. I read it, and it was good. And anyway, there were other good, lots of good books that I got from the library sale.
What do you hope to see for the future of Richmond Public Library?
Well, like, I know they're renovating the main library, so I hope they can, like my husband mentioned today in the meeting, that comfortable chairs would be nice. If they do put a open sort of wing with lots of seating, I hope they do some comfortable chairs, sort of like at this Westover Library has in the front of it. You know, that people can sit around and also I mentioned that in Petersburg they have a nice, beautiful, big library, but it was just built, I guess, when we were down there. We were there for 2 years, and it was just built, and it has it had the wonderful glass and tall ceiling. It had 2 floors, and if they do something like that, I think they ought to look at that library. It seemed underutilized, but they were just starting, you know, to build it up when we were leaving, and it was becoming more utilized with the children. I know the downtown doesn't have a lot of children, but I hope they don't have a big library that is underutilized, but I don't think that will be the case with the downtown, because a lot of meeting groups want to go there, and if they have meeting rooms and stuff like that. But I don't know about, I know in the meeting we had here, the lady was saying the branch is just more convenient for her. So I thought it was good that Ben said that they are going to have a, they may have a drive-up, something more convenient of parking, if that's what the issue is going to be. I would like to see more people, like he was saying, use the library for just to come out, them to be more like community centers, like he was saying. They are a community center now, almost, but even like the food courts, but they don't have to have food. They had a big, Regency used to have a room off the food court. I worked at Regency for a while, and it had a room off the food court, and groups would rent that room, and they may or may not eat in the food court, but they paid Regency to rent the room, and you know, downtown groups could meet. I know I belonged to Toastmasters, and they used to meet at the library. So even though there are not a lot of children downtown usually, I think I would like it to be more like a community center, like a mall, because we're doing away with the malls. I heard in some cities the malls are they made Sears, where I worked at Regency, a bunch of apartments, but I hear that some cities are using the mall, skeleton malls, to be dinosaur malls, to be community centers, where the community can get resources about different things. And I think the library is like that now. Like he said, it is sort of a community center. You can get resources about different things. And it's like that quote by the author Gaiman. And as Google can give you 1,000 choices or answers, but a librarian can point you in the right direction or give you the right one.
That's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah.